Hey guys, I'm John Grimsmo and this is Knifemaking Tuesday, week 38. This week we're going to anodize and sharpen a whole bunch of stuff. First up, I anodized the set of honeycomb handles last week and it looked okay, and then I tried to do it again and I kind of screwed it up. Multi-etch is a fickle mistress. It's an etching solution that can etch titanium and remove anodizing, but I found that it removes it so unevenly that you get splotches here and dark spots there and light spots over here, and it's just not very even. So in order to save the set of handles that I kind of messed up on, this is what they normally look like, and that's what I just did. Blasted it with, I believe it was some sort of aluminum oxide. I took it to a friend's shop and blasted it down. It took seconds. I gotta get my own blaster. So, definitely darker, definitely not shiny anymore, which kind of sucks because I like the shiny, but this looks amazing too. So one day we're gonna have to do a whole knife like this because these look awesome. So what we're gonna do, right now I'm gonna anodize. I'm trying to figure out if I should try multi-etch again or if it's just going to cause problems. So I don't know. Either way, I'm going to anodize the whole thing toxic green, and then Eric's going to polish the whole thing back up. Polish all the flats, polish the outside and everything. So it's going to look just like the other ones, totally polished, except the pockets are going to be this sandblasted green. So see what it looks like. Here's a fun little fact about titanium. It bends like crazy and has really good spring back properties. Here's a piece of 40 thousandths inch thick titanium plate or sheet metal, and I'm just trying to put a kink into it. I'm bending at 45 degrees and it's going back totally straight. Putting my weight into it, and it's still totally straight. I don't know how I'm going to bend this thing. Heat, I guess, but... Oh my goodness. I'm actually hurting myself doing this. So what's going on here is I'm souping up my titanium anodizing setup. I was using a big peanut butter jar before, but it's sort of limiting in size and space and everything. So now I'm going to move to this tub. Now I need a cathode plate, and before I was using an aluminum plate, now I'm going to use this titanium plate. I had it kicking around for like 9 months, haven't used it yet, so finally got a use for it. So instead of trying to bend the thing, which I cannot do, what I'm going to do is take a snippet out of this side and do the same over here, and then these I can bend over because they're much smaller. So I've just got some big shears, and it actually works pretty well to cut it. Once you get your leverage just right. Okay, so these tabs are basically going to hang over the edge like that, and then I can bend them over the edge and sort of cinch it into place. Oh my goodness, I'm going to need pliers. Crazy! That's why tie makes a good pocket clip. You know, a lot of knife makers use this same thickness material, 40 thousandths, to make their pocket clips, and it works great. Vice grips to the rescue. Just gives you more leverage, more to hold on to. There we go. That works. So just like that. But apparently it also breaks. That sucks. I just tried to roll it over this way and it broke right off. Boo! It's okay, I'll just cut another one. This time the same thickness as that, because maybe the thinness of it just was weak enough. Or too weak. And I can see a tiny little stress crack forming at the corner here. Yeah, you can see it. So I gotta be careful with that. A tiny bit of heat with a blowtorch would make this bend really easily, so I might just do that. Well, that worked fantastically well. The back side of the part is not important, so I can test out things on it. And on this one I'm probably going to end up Scotch brightening it smooth anyway. So I can test out what colors look like on a bead blasted surface, because they do look different. So here I've got various voltages. This was about a 24 volt blue. This is about a 32 volt blue. And then yellow here, light yellow, darker yellow, and that was a green. This is about 90 volts green, and then this one here is about 94 volts green. So you can see light green, dark green. And this is kind of what I'm going for, 90 volts. Maybe I'll do a 91 volt or something. Just a little bit higher. In a normal anodizing setup, the water and the cathode plate, like this titanium sheet that I use, gets negative power, and then the part gets hung by a positive wire. And it's kind of the same theory here. So I've got my red positive wire. I'll clip it onto the part. And then I've got my black negative wire with just a scrap of titanium in there. And then I've got an eyedropper, and I'm just going to take a drop of my weak sulfuric acid anodizing mixture. You could also use TSP, even Coca-Cola works, or so I've heard. I don't have any Coke. I have some Pepsi. Maybe I'll try it. Anyway, so I'm just going to put a drop right there. And all you do is you turn up the power a little bit and you touch the wire to the top of the droplet. Try not to touch the wire to the metal, otherwise it'll short circuit. And I did it once or twice and nothing bad really happened, but try not to do it. So I'm going to turn it up to 24 volts, which gets a nice blue, just so we can get a visual here. How's that? A little bit closer. There goes bronze, here it goes towards purple, and now coming up to blue. Notice how the water is kind of spreading and evaporating on the edges? That's how you get these rings of colors. There, blue. So you can see how if you were creative, you could do some neat patterns. Okay, maybe that's kind of purple, that new color. But you could do some neat patterns, you could do some like bacteria kind of colors, and lots of cool things you can do, but for me, I'm using it to test out the colors. Okay, what I said before about don't touching the two wires together, and I did it at lower voltages, like 20 volts, and it just made the tiniest little light ball of a spark. I just did it at 90 volts, and it made a scary spark. So don't do that. Part of me says I only have one chance at this, but truth is I could always take it back and re-blast it, and then start over again. But I'd like to get it the first shot. So I'm just going to go up through the voltage ranges. So that you can see all the cool colors, because green is at the very top, but also just that I don't go too far, and I can keep taking it out a little bit at a time, checking on it. So we'll start with bronze. Let's do 12 volts. So 18 gets you into the purple range. There's 20, which should be about purplish. Totally different color than polished. Much darker, more subdued. On polished metal you get these vibrant colors. Let's take it up to blue. There's about 25 volts. Yeah, that's bluish. That's cool. Crank her up to yellow. Let's just go straight to 60 volts. Should be able to get a pretty good yellow out of this. Sometimes you take it out and put it back in again and it just changes again. It's weird. I'm not sure what's going on because it's not getting me those bright greens that I got on the back side of the handle. I'm at 92.6 volts right now. It's kind of a dark green, I guess, but it just doesn't show that well. So I wasn't quite happy with how that color turned out, so I dipped it in multi-etch for about 40 seconds. And rinsed it off really well, blew it off really well, because I don't want that multi-etch to still be on there. I think that's been part of my problem. Anyway, so I'm going to go back up the voltages and see if I can see a difference. Looks like it. I'm already at blue, 24 volts, which is excellent. Let's creep our way up to light blue and then yellow. There's 61 volts, 62. Okay, one more time. This is now the second time I've stripped it again with multi-etch today. I stripped it for a good long 3 minutes this time, which for my particular concentration of multi-etch is really long. And you can see it etched really well. This thing is back to silver now. It's even a little bit whiter than it was right out of sandblasting. And it took most of the color off the backside too. And I polished it up a section right here with the Scotch-Brite wheel just to see what it would look like. This should lead to some pretty bright colors. I'm not really sure where I left off with that anodizing section, but this is what I ended up with. Bead blasted and then anodized green. So the honeycombs are this sort of dark matte green. And then Eric polished the surface and the edges with the Scotch-Brite wheel. And then we anodized the top part blue, sort of dark purpley blue. Green thumb stud, green spacers, and even the pocket clip was anodized blue and then Scotch-Brited silver again. So the JG logo and even the chamfers by the screws are blue. Yeah, this one turned out really cool. Lockup is pretty good. Smooth as butter. Ow. Oh yeah, it's sharp. Eric sharpened it up to 1000 grit on the wicked edge. This thing is completely finished. If we get our new wicked edge stones, the leather strops and the ceramic stone, then we'll touch this one up again. Otherwise, if I hear back from the customer soon enough, then this thing will get shipped out. This one is also done. I think it needs an edge. Yeah, it needs to be sharpened. This is one of two going to my buddy Michael. Bronze anodizing. So what I'm trying to do right now, I got all these knives to lock up properly. All of them with about 10 to 40% lockup. You know, it's tough to be extremely consistent with them, but you do what you can and they lock up nicely. Rock solid lockup. They're still a little sticky, but I think that just needs to be broken in. One thing that's bugging me is these three blades and this one right here are a little bit off center. And not this one, but some of the other ones, like this one maybe? No, not quite. The one that's taken apart. Anyway, the blade is actually touching the side of the handle, and you can hear it scraping. Actually, my original one does that too. So that's kind of bugging me. Now why that happens is the blades are actually kind of warped. When I clamp the blade down to my milling machine, it gets clamped from here, and then it mills the edge. Now, when you remove any amount of metal from a piece of hardened steel, it likes to buckle and sort of curve. So you remove this part and it's now curved like that. And when I flip it over and I attach it here, I can actually bend that edge down because it's curved up so much. If I had to guess, if this is flat, this part's up, I don't know, 40 or 50 thou, like a noticeable amount. But then when you machine the second side, it pretty much evens out. Most of them straighten right out because you removed an even amount of metal from both sides. But if for whatever reason you remove like an extra 1/1000th of an inch depth on this side versus this side, it could cause the blade to be a little crooked. And that's the case with those 4 blades, 3 there and then this one here. So to do that, I've Sharpied the edge, and then I'm going to remachine it, just kissing it, like just touching. I just want to take the Sharpie off. So it might take a couple passes to find the right depth, but hopefully that will do it, because right now it's bent tip towards the right. So if I remove metal from this side just a teeny bit, I'm hoping that'll bend it back up like this so that they're not touching the sides. All the knives are warped towards the same direction. See, all towards that display side handle. All 4 of these, pretty much the same amount. So it's just the way that I make them. You know, I do this side first, then I do this side, and after doing this side second, it puts a more bow into it, or something like that. I don't know, I'm still learning. I have tried to bend them in my arbor press here, and they're quite flexible, but they spring right back. This one, I tried to heat it up just in this area with a blowtorch, propane, and tried to bend it then, but it still springs right back. So hence why this one's discolored. So you have a huge risk of snapping your blade in half if you try to bend it in the arbor press. So be careful with that, but I was willing to screw up one to figure it out. Luckily it didn't break, it just bent a lot and then sprung right back to flat. Well, to warped. So it didn't really do anything. And I didn't want to go any harder for fear of actually breaking it. So maybe I should have gone harder, but I didn't want to break it. So I'm going to try to remachine that. It's a tip I got from another knife maker who machines his blades like this. But he said most of the time all of his blades end up straight, so it's sort of a fluke. Except for me, it's a fluke times 4. I guess because I'm learning and doing something wrong. That looks excellent. Got pretty much all the Sharpie except for a few little squiggles at the top of my finger there, but that's inconsequential. Made some really nice straw colored chips here. Not quite blue, but that's okay because I'm not machining too hard here. Quite a lot of chips actually for just skimming the surface. But yeah, let's see if that straightened out the blade. Pull it out and see what happened. sure there's no blade play. What are we checking here? Oh my goodness. You know, it's still not perfectly straight, centered, but I'd say that's noticeably better. I can get this thing to focus. Yeah, that's totally acceptable. Still a little bit off, I'll admit. I mean, but it's not going to rub the side anymore, and that is much better. I wonder if like one more pass, a little bit deeper, would change that, make it better. So I might have to try that. So it's time to wrap up this week's video. Of course, I want to thank you all for watching. We've gotten quite a lot of knives finished this week. It's been awesome. I've even shipped off a bunch of them. Just hand delivered one to a customer today for his 50th birthday. So that one looked amazing. I feel dumb that I didn't get that one on video because it looked awesome. But we'll be doing that color scheme. The whole thing was this toxic green color. It was awesome. But we'll be doing that again, so you'll get to see it sometime. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and stay tuned next week for more cool stuff.